Welcome to Never Forgotten, where Ashley pays tribute to extraordinary lives that continue to live on through memory and meaning. This channel honors beloved figures from film, music, culture, and beyond, reflecting on their impact, their achievements, and the inspiration they shared. Together, we remember their stories and celebrate legacies that time can never erase. David Allan Coe was born on September 6, 1939 in Akron. His early years were marked by instability and time spent in reform institutions during his youth. These experiences shaped a tough, independent outlook on life. Amid difficult circumstances, he discovered music as a personal outlet for expression and began developing his early songwriting voice. Music career and breakthrough. In the late 1960s, Coe moved to Nashville with little support and many hardships, often living in rough conditions while pursuing music. He focused on songwriting and gradually earned attention in the industry. One of his biggest breakthroughs came when Johnny Paycheck recorded "Take This Job and Shove It," bringing Coe widespread recognition as a writer. Outlaw country era and style Coe became part of the outlaw country movement alongside artists like Willie Nelson and Waylon Jennings. His music stood out for its raw storytelling and unfiltered style, with songs such as "You Never Even Called Me by My Name" and "The Ride." While his image and lyrics sometimes sparked debate, his individuality remained central to his identity as an artist. Legacy and later life. In his later years, Coe continued performing while facing health challenges, including respiratory illness. He passed away at the age of 86. His legacy is often viewed as unconventional but influential, remembered for his honesty in songwriting and his refusal to follow traditional industry expectations. Glauco Mauri was born on October 1, 1930, and developed an early passion for the performing arts. He trained at the Accademia Nazionale d'Arte Drammatica Silvio D'Amico, one of Italy's most respected drama schools. After completing his studies, he made his stage debut in 1953, quickly gaining attention for his strong stage presence, emotional depth, and ability to handle classical roles with ease. Theater career and creative partnerships. In 1961, Mauri helped establish the Compagnia dei Quattro, a theater company that became known for staging works by major playwrights such as Shakespeare, Beckett, and Pasolini. His dedication to theater deepened over the years, and in the 1980s he began a long-standing collaboration with actor Roberto Sturno. Together, they formed a new company that toured extensively and explored the works of authors like Dostoevsky and Goethe, bringing complex literary classics to the stage with clarity and intensity. Work in film and media. Although theater was his primary focus, Mauri also worked in film and television. He appeared in productions by directors such as Dario Argento and Marco Bellocchio, along with various radio and television performances. These roles showcased his versatility beyond the stage, even though his strongest reputation remained rooted in theater. Final years and legacy. Glauco Mauri passed away in Rome at the age of 93 after a brief illness. His career spanned more than 70 years, leaving behind a lasting influence on Italian theater. He is remembered for his discipline, artistic commitment, and deep respect for dramatic storytelling, inspiring generations of actors and audiences alike. Janet Andrewartha was born on September 16, 1951, and developed an early connection to music, storytelling, and performance. Before entering the acting world full-time, she worked as a high school music teacher, a role that reflected her natural ability to guide and inspire through creativity. This early experience helped shape her understanding of expression and communication. Training and acting career. She later pursued formal drama training and graduated in 1979, marking the start of a long professional journey in the performing arts. Her career expanded across television and theater, where she became known for bringing emotional depth and authenticity to every role she played. Television and stage success. Andrewartha gained wide recognition on Australian television through memorable performances, including Rebecca Reb Keane in Prisoner and Lynn Scully in Neighbours. These roles made her a familiar presence to audiences and highlighted her strength in long-running drama series. Alongside her screen work, she remained deeply committed to theatre, performing in productions with major companies such as the Melbourne Theatre Company and Playbox Theatre Company, Legacy and Remembrance. Janet Andrewartha passed away, though the cause of death has not been publicly shared. Her contribution to Australian television and theatre remains significant, with a career spanning more than 4 decades. She is remembered for her versatility, dedication, and the lasting emotional impact of her performances. Josh Marrow was born on November 8, 1990 in St. Albans, England, and moved to the United States at a young age. Growing up in Texas, he was drawn to American football early and quickly developed into a standout high school athlete at L.D. Bell High School, where his defensive performances earned him recognition for his strength, awareness, and consistency on the field. College and professional career. He continued his journey at Stanford University, balancing academic discipline with athletic development. Known for his work ethic and team-first mindset, he built a reputation as a reliable defensive player. After going undrafted in 2014, Marrow remained determined and earned opportunities in the NFL, eventually contributing across several teams over multiple seasons. Throughout his professional career, he was valued for his dependability, physicality, and willingness to do the difficult work that supported the team. Personal life. Off the field, Josh Marrow was described as grounded in faith and deeply connected to his family. Those close to him often spoke about his humility and the importance he placed on relationships, character, and personal values beyond football. Passing and legacy. On April 23, 2026, Josh Marrow passed away at the age of 35. The cause of death has not been publicly disclosed. His passing was met with sadness across the football community, where he is remembered for his perseverance, professionalism, and steady presence throughout his career. Van Hammer, born Mark Ty Hildreth on November 1, 1959 in Hebron, grew up in a structured environment that later influenced his disciplined approach to life. He served in the United States Navy, where he developed physical strength, resilience, and mental focus, qualities that would later shape his career in professional wrestling. Wrestling, career, and rise. After leaving military service, he trained under experienced wrestlers like Boris Malenko and Dan Spivey. By 1991, he entered professional wrestling and quickly gained attention for his energetic, rock star-inspired persona. In World Championship Wrestling, he stood out for his bold look and charisma, competing against well-known names and building recognition among fans during a highly competitive era. Reinvention and challenges. As the wrestling world changed, Van Hammer adapted by joining the faction known as Raven's Flock, adopting a darker and more intense character. While this shift brought renewed attention, his career experienced inconsistencies, and he gradually moved away from regular appearances in the industry over time. Personal life and legacy. Outside the ring, his life included personal struggles and legal issues that affected how he was viewed publicly. Despite these challenges, fans continued to remember his presence during a dynamic period in wrestling history. Van Hammer passed away at the age of 66, leaving behind a legacy defined by individuality, reinvention, and his role in an evolving era of sports entertainment. A young woman stepped off a bus in Nashville in 1967 with nothing but $20, a guitar, and a dream that no one believed in. She came from a one-room cabin in the Smoky Mountains, where poverty shaped every part of life. In Nashville, executives mocked her accent, her appearance, and her voice, telling her she would never succeed in country music. But that woman was Dolly Parton, and she would go on to write over 3,000 songs, build a global empire worth hundreds of millions, and become one of the most beloved figures in music history. Behind the fame, however, was a life marked by struggle, rejection, and deep personal sacrifice. Her journey wasn't a fairy tale of instant success, but a long, painful climb built on resilience, heartbreak, and a refusal to let her beginnings define her ending. A childhood built on poverty and music. Dolly Parton was born in 1946 in a small cabin in the Smoky Mountains of Tennessee, the fourth of 12 children in a family where survival was a daily challenge. Her father worked long, exhausting hours in fields and construction, while her mother held the family together with quiet strength and song. There was no electricity, no running water, and barely enough food to feed everyone. Yet music filled the home, becoming both comfort and escape. Dolly learned early that while material things were scarce, imagination and melody were abundant. She began writing songs as a child and performing on local radio by the age of 10. But alongside creativity came hardship and shame, as she often faced judgment for her poverty. Those early experiences shaped her identity, teaching her that dreams were necessary for survival, and that voice and storytelling could become a way out of even the hardest circumstances. Nashville's rejection and the fight to be heard. At 18, Dolly left home for Nashville with hope in her heart and almost nothing in her pocket. But the city did not welcome her easily. She lived in poverty, surviving on scraps while chasing opportunities across Music Row. Record labels dismissed her appearance, her accent, and her voice, telling her she was not what country music wanted. Even when she sang, she was often ignored or underestimated. Despite constant rejection, she continued writing songs and taking small jobs to survive. Every no added to the weight of self-doubt, but it also strengthened her determination. She refused to return home defeated, even when loneliness and financial struggle became overwhelming. Slowly, she began to gain small opportunities, but they came with little control over her music. Still, she held on, believing that her voice had meaning, even if the world was not yet ready to listen. A breakthrough that came with a price. Dolly's first real break came when she joined Porter Wagoner's television show in the late 1960s. It gave her exposure, stability, and a national audience, turning her into a rising star. However, the partnership came with strict control over her career. Her creative freedom was limited, and decisions about her music were often made by others. While the opportunity launched her fame, it also created emotional and artistic conflict. Dolly began to feel trapped between gratitude for the opportunity and frustration over her lack of independence. Behind the scenes, tension grew as she struggled to assert her identity as a songwriter and performer. The success of the show could not hide the fact that she was losing ownership of her own voice. This period became both her platform and her cage, forcing her to confront the cost of success in an industry that often controlled young artists. Breaking free and finding her true voice. After years of internal struggle, Dolly made a life-changing decision to leave Porter Wagoner's management. It was not easy, as it meant financial risk and professional uncertainty, but it was necessary for her independence. Around this time, she wrote, "I Will Always Love You," not as a traditional love song, but as a farewell to a complicated partnership. The song became a massive success and marked a turning point in her career. Freed from control, she began creating music that reflected her true voice, including hits like Jolene and 9 to 5. These songs showcased her storytelling ability and emotional honesty, connecting deeply with audiences. Her career expanded beyond country music into pop culture and film, proving her versatility. This phase was not just about fame, but about reclaiming identity and proving that she could succeed entirely on her own terms. Fame, pressure, and hidden emotional struggles. As Dolly's career reached global heights, the pressure of fame began to take a toll. Her schedule became relentless, filled with touring, recording, and public appearances. While the world saw confidence and charm, privately she struggled with exhaustion and emotional stress. The expectation to constantly perform and maintain her image created deep internal strain. She also faced personal loneliness as her husband preferred a private life away from the spotlight, leaving her to navigate fame largely on her own. Despite her success, she experienced periods of depression and emotional breakdown, moments she later spoke about with honesty and vulnerability. These struggles revealed that success does not erase emotional pain. Instead, it often hides it behind public performance. Dolly learned to cope through creativity, using songwriting as an outlet for feelings she could not always express openly in her daily life. Reinvention, criticism, and building an empire. Throughout her career, Dolly faced constant criticism about her image, voice, and appearance. Many dismissed her as a caricature, failing to recognize the intelligence behind her carefully crafted persona. She used this perception to her advantage, turning stereotypes into a powerful brand. Her business decisions, including owning her music rights and launching Dollywood, demonstrated sharp strategic thinking. Dollywood, built near her hometown, became a symbol of her journey from poverty to success and created economic opportunities for her community. Despite skepticism, her ventures flourished. At the same time, she faced personal losses and public scrutiny, yet continued to evolve artistically and professionally. Her ability to adapt while staying true to herself made her one of the most enduring figures in entertainment. Dolly proved that image and intelligence can coexist, and that success can be both creative and strategic when controlled by the artist. Loss, grief, and emotional endurance. Behind her public success, Dolly experienced profound personal losses that deeply affected her life. She lost several close family members, including siblings and her parents, each passing leaving emotional wounds that could not be easily healed. Her mother in particular had been a constant source of support and inspiration. These losses forced Dolly to confront grief repeatedly while continuing her career in the public eye. She often had to perform while carrying private sorrow, separating her emotional pain from her professional responsibilities. Music became her primary way of processing grief, allowing her to transform sadness into art. Despite immense success, she admitted that loss remained one of the most difficult aspects of her life. These experiences added depth to her songwriting and reinforced her understanding that fame cannot protect anyone from human suffering or emotional vulnerability. Giving back and building a lasting legacy. As Dolly grew older, her focus shifted from fame to giving back. She created the Imagination Library, a program that provides free books to children, helping millions gain access to reading materials regardless of background. She also supported disaster relief efforts and donated millions to healthcare and education initiatives. Her philanthropy was not driven by publicity, but by personal understanding of poverty and struggle. Having experienced hardship firsthand, she dedicated her success to helping others escape similar circumstances. Her generosity extended across communities and causes, reflecting a belief that wealth carries responsibility. Through these efforts, she built a legacy that went beyond music and entertainment. Dolly became a symbol of compassion, showing that true success is measured not only by achievement, but by the positive impact left on others' lives. The woman behind the legend. Today, Dolly Parton remains an active and respected figure, still writing music and managing her business empire while living a quieter life in Tennessee. Despite global fame, she maintains a strong connection to her roots and continues to value simplicity and kindness above everything else. Her long marriage, though private, has remained steady through decades of fame and distance. While age has slowed her physically, her creative spirit and generosity remain unchanged. She often reflects on her journey with humility, emphasizing gratitude over achievement. Dolly's life story is not just about success and entertainment, but about resilience, emotional strength, and the ability to turn hardship into purpose. She represents a rare combination of talent, intelligence, and compassion, proving that true legacy is built not on fame alone, but on the lives you touch and the kindness you leave behind.